Okay, we left off in our last segment still looking at for whom do we fall. Social psychologists have also consistently found, more often than not, people are attracted to those who are similar to themselves. Similar in demographics like age, education, race, intelligence, socioeconomic status, etc. Similar in attitudes also, especially political and religious values. And similar in attractiveness. Now, this is called the matching hypothesis, similar in attractiveness. The matching hypothesis is a term for how people tend to match up with others who match them in attractiveness. There is much research supporting the matching hypothesis. And last, as far as similarity goes, a particularly powerful component of similarity is something psychologists call eye sharing. We tend to be attracted to others who subjectively experience things similar to us and privately share it with us. Those with whom you react to things similarly, you both tend to find them funny or disturbing or fascinating or boring, etc. And privately share it with each other with a wink or an eye roll or a look, for instance. Eye sharing is powerful in strengthening bonds. So, if you are watching my lectures with someone else this semester and you both rolled your eyes at one of my jokes, you might just be falling in love. The similarity effect is so strong that it is often called the similarity rule. Sometimes students ask, but what about opposites attract? In most cases, by far, birds of a feather flock together wins out over opposites attract. You might think that someone who has a high need to nurture and one who is highly dependent might be a match made in heaven because their differences are complementary. But usually, we find it easier to mix with similarity than to negotiate such differences. I say usually because there are always some exceptions, right? In fact, the reason we tend to remember those rare opposite attract relationships is because they are so unique, so few and far between. Here is my favorite memorable example of an exception to the similarity rule.
It's the last thing you'd expect to see emerging from the woods of Tennessee. The last two things, actually. Which is why I knew the story of Bella and Tara would be big. I just had no idea how big. If you saw the original story, you know how elephants come here from zoos and circuses one by one, but stay here two by two.
Every elephant that comes here searches out someone that she then spends most all of her time with.
Of course, it's always another elephant.
Best buds, these two.
With the notable exception
There's no other elephant around here?
of Tara
Just these two.
and a stray named Bella.
That's hilarious.
They drink together, they sleep together, they play together.
And stay together, no matter what. When Bella got sick last year and had to live in the sanctuary office, guess who stood vigil? For 3 weeks, Tara waited there.
She was concerned about her friend.
And we had no choice but to bring Bella down to see Tara.
The pair showed such devotion, showed such tenderness and trust. It was almost hard to believe. So, don't look for Tara and Bella at a theater near you. But by all means, do look to them next time you feel like there's just no good in this world.
Next, we tend to fall for people who like us. After all, they have such good taste, right? Remember from our attitudes lecture that way back in 1965, Fritz Heider proposed balance theory, that people prefer relationships that are balanced. Besides a tendency to like others who like us, This theory helps explain why our attitudes regarding people and things sometimes change. Suppose I meet Joe and really like him, but then I find that Joe dislikes something that I feel strongly positive about, say education. Remember, Heider theorized that such unbalanced relationships cause discomfort, and we are motivated to balance them? If education is not that important to me, I may balance this by thinking less of it. But if it's important to me, which it is, my attitude toward Joe would likely take the hit. Finally, we tend to like those who self-disclose. In other words, they share their thoughts and feelings, and we tend to reciprocate. The more couples disclose close personal information about themselves to each other, the better they understand each other, the better that they can provide social support for each other, the stronger their attraction and bond, and so the closer they grow. So, in summary, we tend to fall for people who live or hang in close proximity to us, are attractive, to whom we are repeatedly exposed, are similar to us and like us, and who click with us in a self-disclosure kind of way.